The Aries full moon is here to light us up, so let's get into it. On October 20th, we have a big, beautiful full moon in Aries. This is going to be happening at 27 degrees of Aries in 26 minutes. And when I say big and beautiful, every full moon I think is big and beautiful. But this full moon, alas, is stemming from that new moon conjunct Mars earlier in the month, and specifically October 6th. And that new moon, I'm in it right now as I'm recording it, and it is definitely sharp. It is definitely sharp. I'm definitely feeling that piercing quality of Mars, bringing stuff up for me, bringing stuff out, and I'm sure you are too. Maybe you're feeling the motivation side of it, but I do have to say that this full moon in Aries is just as fierce. So what we have going on here with this full moon in Aries is we have the luminary squaring Pluto. Yes, we've had so much Pluto on the menu lately. Pluto has been digging up that angsty side of ourselves that wants control, that wants, we're kind of obsessive with Pluto, and it's also bringing up a lot from the past. So all this Pluto work is really revealing to us some of our core desires, some of the things that are just controlling us from our subconscious. And Mercury retrograde is deeply entwined with this Pluto work, and we're doing so much shadow work right now. We're looking at our less favorite sides of ourselves, perhaps, but there's so much wisdom and richness in our shadow, because bringing in this subject of Chiron that we've been talking about too, as Mercury is stationing direct. Wisdom is usually hard earned. There's usually some things that we go through in our life that really kind of teach us the hard way. And it's usually there that our greatest strengths and our greatest victories and our greatest overcomings live and stem from. But there's also complexity there. So Pluto is reminding us of those complex storylines. And so there's big reveals coming out. Big secrets have been coming out with Mercury's repeated squares to Pluto. So this full moon, we have both luminaries, which quite literally put light onto something, sending their light to that Pluto, which is the thing that is hidden, the thing that is buried, the thing that is obscured, and are quite literally casting light onto that point in our chart. So this is pretty big. This is going to be big for the United States too, because this degree is squaring the Pluto return, which is on the horizon now. This is also lighting up Kamala Harris's chart, because she was born on an Aries full moon, and I believe it was at this degree too, I want to say. Really close by. I believe it's exactly to her degrees. So there should be some exciting things happening here where I live in the United States. But I view this full moon because it is answering to Mars in Libra. We've been doing so much work with Mars, that same Mars that was conjunct the new moon on the 6th. This new moon is now, or this full moon rather, is now ruled by that Mars, which is coming into a trine with Jupiter and is also coming into an exact square with Pluto. Mars square Pluto is extremely volatile. And because Mars is in Libra, it's trying to save face, it's trying to be nice, I really think that this full moon is going to show us and pull out rage. I think it's going to just pull out anger that we didn't even know that we had. The full moons really call the waters forth. So I think about Mars, I think about blood. I think about how this full moon is going to make blood boil. It's going to just entice that adrenaline drip to come out. So we definitely want to watch. I think we'll see, especially because full moons tend to coincide with the turning up of energy. It's a known fact that there are more hospitalizations and arrests and things like that. So we want to be careful. And I don't say that to elicit fear. I'm just if you see someone raging on the road and they're shaking their fist at you, hold back. hold back, especially you got kids in the car, hold back. We just know that people are going to be on edge this around this full moon. And reasonably so. There's so much to be angry about. There's so much to be frustrated about. And I think that this full moon is really going to call that forth in a lot of ways. So thinking about Mars and Libra and how the expression of rage, the expression of anger is often stifled for, saving face, for not dealing with the shrapnel of conflict, for just like avoiding conflict in general, or just like avoiding, creating upsets with other people, I think that Mars and Libra has habitually, like stuffed that energy down. And, Pluto is going to bring that out. Mars square Pluto brings that out. So there's something about expressing rage of the past or the present around this full moon that is really important. And I think a lot of us, especially those of us with a lot of Venus placements, we may not be the most comfortable with anger and rage, but it does have its place. It really does have its place. And it's a necessary emotion sometimes. But the trouble is, Mars is so primal. There's really not a lot of logic that goes in with Mars at its core. And so it can be very automatic and really just like unrefined. So that's the thing with Mars and Libra, is like that's a placement that tries to refine and really tame that primal, animalistic, reactive, territorial, survival inclined side. And so, yeah, maybe people pleasing was a form of survival or even a form of control, to try to control the outcome of something. But there's something wild and untamed about this energy around the full moon that's really bringing that out. So there could be just like a lot of energetic, emotional release around this full moon. So make sure you're in good company. Make sure you're in the company of people that can contain that. Maybe you're going to be holding space for someone else, because very often this energy kind of just like comes out around us. It's not always us. So the other thing is that Mars, like I said, is coming into that trine with Jupiter as well. So that could be like a lot. That could be like a lot of anger. That really could. It could also be, maybe it's not anger. Maybe you have a healthy relationship with anger. Maybe this is the time for you to get really motivated and to really call your energy forth, to call your potency forth. The Aries full moon comes during Libra season. Libra season is a time when we are focusing on harmonization, cultivating relationships, trying to understand each other a little bit more, trying to understand where the other person is coming from. But the Aries full moon is here to really remind us that relationships get kind of dull when we're constantly toning each other down or toning ourselves down for the other person. You don't want to like outshine or outbid the other person. And so the Aries full moon is really here to remind us that to light us up and to really remember to bring our fullness to every relationship, especially the ones we've had for a long time, because those are the ones that can benefit the most from bringing our fullness more often. We get comfortable, right? And so the Aries full moon is like, no, bring that full vibe into the relationship and really bring that vivaciousness into the relationship by being your full expression of yourself. So yeah, there's something about reminding us that we're still sovereign beings as we continue to co-create with other people. So yeah, it's not about compromising our authenticity here. So lots of Pluto stuff coming to light, but also remembering how sovereign we are, how we have the choice to affect change, and we have the choice to, in that converse to Mars and Libra, which is really accommodating and people pleasing and really toning themselves down to some degree for what they think is the greater good. The Aries full moon is like, nah, bring your whole self. So we're going to start to see that contrast around this full moon. And I hope it's really illuminating and supportive for you. And I hope you're getting the most out of this Pluto Mars, which could also just be a fierceness, you know? How do we want to direct that fierceness? Is there something that we want to get off the ground as Mercury is going direct, as all these planets are going direct? What do we want to light up and instigate and move and shake in our Aries house, stemming from that Libra? All that Libra stuff that's been happening. We have the new moon, the Cazimi, the other Cazimi. We've got a lot happening in the Libra house. So how is that kind of shooting out into the Aries area of our chart where we really need to bring our authenticity and our fullness? So I hope this Aries full moon lights you up and excites you and animates you. And yeah, I hope if you are someone who needs to release that energy, I hope that you can do so in a way that is extremely supportive, where you feel received and heard and supported in that expression. So that was your astrology shot of the day, and I will catch you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine, or visit me at my website where you can book your next reading, and I look forward to discussing your chart with you in more detail.